guys, and welcome back to Chesopedia. Today's video will be something new. So today I will be analyzing one of the old classic games played between Siegbert Tarrasch and Alexander Alekhine in the year 1925 at Baden-Baden. Here, Siegbert Tarrasch is playing with the white pieces whereas Alexander Alekhine is on black. I would like to show you this game as black as with Alekhine's point of view, so I have flipped the board. It's a very interesting game with so much to learn from it. Friends, let's start. Here, Tarrasch plays the move e4 and Alekhine responds with e5. Knight f3 played by Tarrasch and knight to c6 by Alekhine. Bishop to c4 by white and bishop to c5. The Chico piano. And here Tarrasch played the move c3. And here Alekhine played the prophylactic move bishop to b6. It's a line though. So in order to save himself from the next white's move of d4, so Alexander Alekhine plays bishop b6 and Tarrasch played the move d4. And black here played the move queen to e7, developing his queen in the early. Okay. And here white castled with his king. And now the main line, which is d6, is of course the main line and which is okay to play. But here Alekhine played a more forced move first, that is knight to f6, attacking his pawn on e4. So here Tarrasch responded with rook e1, saving his pawn on e4, and Alekhine played the move d6, a4, and he responded with a6 in order to prevent sometimes from this kind of threats like d5, and when the knight goes on back then a5, trapping the bishop on b6. So Alekhine played the move a6 and Tarrasch played h3, some kinds of stopping the bishop to go on to g4 square, and castles from black. Bishop to g5, pinning the knight. By the way, here white want to move the bishop to e3, so bishop to g5 is kind of waste move because white knows what is black's next threat after bishop to g5, that is h6, so it has to go to bishop e3. So I think bishop e3 first is also fine and also better than bishop to g5. But in the game, Siegbert Tarrasch played bishop to g5, attacking the black queen on e7, pinning the black queen on e7 by its knight, and h6, bishop to e3, obvious reply. And here if white had played the move bishop to h4, then it would be a very nice plan for black that Alekhine had in mind, that is king to h8 with the idea of rook g8 and push the g5 pawn and go on to with the attack on king side of white. So that's why Tarrasch played bishop to e3, and now black played here the move queen to d8. This is a very so this is a very paradoxic move. It seems like senseless because you're moving the queen to e7 first on move 7 like, and then you're moving back your queen to d8. But it's very effective, that we'll see later in the game. Its main objective is to take on d4, and after let's say white take on d4 with his pawn, and then to push d5 and take the control over the center. And it's also very difficult for white to understand what's the point of this move. It seems like senseless, just moving the queen up and then down again. But it is very effective. That we will understand later in the game. Here, Tarrasch played the move bishop to d3. Alekhine responded with rook to e8, developing his rook onto an open file, semi-open file. And here Tarrasch developed his last piece, that was knight on b1, and he developed knight to b2. And now Alexander Alekhine played bishop to a7, preventing himself from the next white's move, that is knight to c4, thus a paradoxical move. After bishop a7, knight to c4 was attacking the knight on b6, so it prevented him. So that's why black played the move bishop to a7. And now here Tarrasch played the move queen to c2 in order some kind of attack like developing his queen and also connecting his rook. But now this was the best time for Alekhine to play the move e takes d4. because now white cannot take the pawn with c takes d4, or knight to b4 will grab his bishop and will attain a double bishop for black. So that's why knight takes d4 is the first line, and knight e5. Now again attacking the bishop on d3 and weakening a bit of his e4 pawn. So that's why bishop f1 is the most obvious reply, which was played by Tarrasch. And now d5, control over the whole center. Black is now even stronger than white in the center, as we can see. Rook a d1, trying to do something kind of attacks on the pin. And now played c5, attacking the knight on d4 and thus gaining the center pretty well. And now Tarrasch played knight 4 to b3, and we see that his pieces are going back step by step. Once he goes bishop to back, and now his knight is going back, and white's pawn and black's pawn are increasing. So, and here Alexander developed his queen to c7, saving the pawn on c5, which was attacked by two pieces. So it is saved by his queen and bishop from black. And here played bishop to f4 by Tarrasch. Now here e takes d5 will be met by knight takes d5, and after knight to c4, knight takes c4, bishop takes c4, knight takes c3, rook takes c3, rook takes c3, and after f takes c3, black has a move that is queen to e7, and black would have even better prospects in this position. So that's why black would have liked this position. But Tarrasch didn't play this, and he played the move bishop to f4. Now, Alekhine played the move knight to f3 in order to gain a double bishop advantage, which is seriously good for him. Now we see that knight to f3 also hangs pawn on d5, because after, let's say, he will take the pawn on d5, then white is a pawn plus. So we'll see that later. So here white played knight takes f3, queen takes f4, of course, and e takes d5, which is a mistake, because you're just taking a pawn, and it's very obvious you're taking the pawn, which is the past, and now it is going to promote. But now black has severe attacks on white's king. You see the bishop is all over the king after move c4. This bishop is going to be developed. Bishop takes h3, bishop f5, all these ideas are in the air. So here, if white could play e5, then bishop to f5 would have been answered by Alekhine. Queen d2, and exchange of the queens should be done here by Alekhine. And knight to e4, attacking the rook on d2. So after, let's say, rook d to d1, and of course not rook takes d5, otherwise bishop to e6 would just simply won a piece. So rook d to d1 would have been the best option. And now just to play the move rook a to d8 with a severe nice position. His knight is very active, his two bishops are in the air, and his pawns are seriously nice on d5 and c5. And of course we can't forget his rook, which are really nicely placed. So, but in the game, Tarrasch played the move e takes d5, and now bishop to f5 played by Alekhine. Another point to note that taking the pawn by playing bishop takes h3 is not really a great idea, which could seem to be, because then after g takes h3, queen takes f3, and after bishop to g2, then we see that white's d pawn is really severe, and it is going to cause black. So that's why this is not a great line to play this. But here we play the move bishop to f5, attacking the queen and developing his last piece with an attack. And now black pieces are getting stronger, and white is seriously in misery. Here white played the move bishop to d3. If white would have been played queen to d2, then queen takes a4 would have been come, and now the knight is in attack. Let's say white play knight to c1, and then we can just play bishop to c2. White has to exchange the rooks in order to save his exchange, and now rook e1. But now we see that just knight to e4, and after, let's say, white plays queen to f4, trying to pin it just to play c4, and now we see that this bishop is really a monster. And let's say after knight d4, stopping the bishop's diagonal, this bishop takes d4, c takes d4 and just queen b4, attacking both the rook and the pawn, gaining the second pawn, gaining the first pawn, but gaining these three main passes, which is the main thing. And it would be winning, of course, for black. So, but here Tarrasch played the move bishop d3 instead of the move queen d2, and here played bishop takes h3 by Alekhine. Now the point is different. Now if white takes the bit g takes h3, then we can play queen takes f3, and now there's no bishop g2 and white's king is in misery. So after bishop to h3, and after, of course, not bishop d3, point to be noted, because after queen d3, not bishop d3, because after queen d3, c4, and after queen 2, white is survived. So this is not a great idea. So bishop takes h3 is the best move, of course, and after g takes h3, queen takes f3 was played in the game, and here Tarrasch made a blunder. Now in this position it's very hard to play, even if you are a great player, it's very hard to play because white's king is kind of suffocated. White's pieces are still, all of his pieces are on third rank, highest pieces, but black's bishop, this is really very kind of monster, and now black plans are too much. One of his plans is if the rooks move somewhere like f1, then we can play rook e5 and rook g5, which we'll see later in the game. He made a blunder by playing the move rook takes e8, allowing black to take the control over the file. And now there's no rook e1 because of just rook takes c1, and that's winning for black. So here Tarrasch played the move bishop f1 in order of thinking that why black, if don't play some useful moves, then bishop to g2 again, and then again white is in better position. But here black is not going to let loose this game, and he plays the move rook to e5. Again, threatening severe threats. One of his threats is rook g5, king h2, and something like bishop to b8 check. Not really here because d6 is coming, but some kind of threats like this. So here Tarrasch played the move c4, just as nothing, because I don't think there's really a great move for white here in order to save his position. d6 also don't help, even the same line occurred after this. So after c4 played by Tarrasch, Alekhine played the move rook to g5 check, king h2, of course, the play, only move, and not bishop b8, which is okay. Again the same line is occurring, which is winning after d6. But there's even stronger line, that is the move knight to g4, which just immediately lets white to resign, because if say white will play king g1, then just simple mate coming in. Let's say you find it. Okay, I'll give you some seconds to find, or you can pause the video. Okay, so yes, knight to e3, checking the king, again only king h2, and just taking on f1, and after white, let's say, take on f1, just queen to 2 is a checkmate. So this is also great. So here played h takes g4, hopeless move again, but after just rook takes g4, Tarrasch just resigned because of seeing the following threat that are rook h4 mainly, but bishop b8 can also occur sometime. Let's say if white play bishop to h3, then just rook to h4, and there's nothing to save this bishop from the king. And if let's say queen f5, but then just even queen takes f5, and this bishop is pinned from the king. So guys, from this game we learned that Alekhine sacrificed the pawn. Okay, I'll show you where, just a second. Okay, I'll show you. Here, knight f3, Alekhine sacrificed a pawn, but which also helped white to attain a passed pawn, but that was too late, and black made up a tremendous attack on white's king with help of his tremendous pieces. Like after white took and queen f4, and after e5, we see that black had a tremendous attack with all of his tremendous pieces. So the game ended like this. So guys and friends, if you like this video and it helped you to add new ideas to your chess palette, please go and give it into a like and share it with your all friends and chess enthusiasts and lovers. If this is your first video you are watching from my channel, then please consider subscribing. We'll meet you next time again with some interesting chess stuff. Till then, keep spreading the the love for this game. Thank you.